Ah, happy birthday, Lua.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Happy birthday, bro.
Appreciate y'all. Don't feel older. Kind of one of those like lull birthdays, But I what I've realized is, you know, it's more of a estimate of, where time has gone, right? Like rather than just a celebration of self. Like you can appreciate how much has happened in these 26 years, you know. That's what I'm spending the day appreciating.
I I remember 25, 26. I did have like a quarter life crisis where like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, what am I doing? What the fuck? Did you ever get that last year or this year?
So honestly, like a couple months ago,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, but it was more in a sense of like, yeah, at some point, certain funds have to stop, right? Like like there's an inevitable point where you're gonna get to a new chapter, right? You just start to think like, okay, like, am I gonna be the one that has to end the chapter, or is life gonna end the chapter for me, right? Like, you know, but both, give itself to interesting stories in the future, right? But I just realized, especially in Los Angeles, you're gonna have to end the chapter because the chapter will never end if you don't try to end it, right? So yeah, it was a couple of months ago, but I think that now I'm like slowly just, easing into the next quarter of my life of the type of energy I want to involve myself in and keep and allow to permeate my opinions and beliefs, because I'm definitely not done learning,
Yeah.
but I've learned enough within these couple of years that I can reflect on things that are new that come up in a way that is a lot more decisive than having to hear so many bullet points from a new perspective to say like, no, this is how I feel about it. Like, no, I kind of already know internally, like this is what I like or this is what I don't like.
Man, that's good. That's
Do
a
you,
good perspective to have.
yeah. Do you think there was some level of peer pressure, or it's just like lack of knowledge, or you're just exploring?
See, definitely a lot of peer pressure, but I think I really was in the pursuit, and I think still am in the pursuit to just have as many interesting stories of my life as possible, right? But I think uh I kind of would just use that excuse for too many things of just like, oh, let me just get interesting things to, be able to tell eventually to people. I think now what I've realized is that, a lot of those things are just me trying to figure out, okay, like, do I like being in certain spaces, enough to where I can say, like, this is a part of my personality, like a lot of things that I've like experienced, especially here, was just me trying to understand, like, okay, I don't really know if I'm this type of person yet. I want to really make sure that I know I'm this type of person before I say, no, I don't like that, or yes, I do like that. Like, just really engaging with, every single aspect that I can. I definitely think it was more on me, but the the influence of others definitely pushed a lot to get me having these experiences. So, I'm not ashamed of it, like the first time I went to Vegas was really fun and interesting and weird, and like I was like very grateful for that first experience. I was like, wow, like at least I know now that I can never live in Vegas. But I'm not shy about the decisions I made when I was there because, you know, I wanted to I wanted to experience things, like it's just I feel like that's what the 20s are for, so yeah. But I can't go too deep into that black hole because, you know, I my arms are strong. I can't climb out that. Well, I don't think I'm strong enough to climb out that much, so I can't really dive into it too deep.
But it's really, yeah, especially when you go to a new city, you kind of have to roll with whoever you, whichever people you start like meeting, right? So
Yeah,
you never know what you're gonna get. But you don't want to be like you want to meet people and you just meet whoever you bump into and you
mhm.
never know what you're gonna get now.
Yeah, no,
But
100%.
hopefully you have like a little bit more roots now and you can like decide and filter out uh weird people.
No, it's almost like a sixth sense now. Like there's just like small signs that you kind of see whenever you know, like, okay, is this person gonna be like a dickhead or are they gonna be, a stand-up guy? Like one of the things that I've noticed, right, is like if you're approaching someone, right, and like someone that you know, and they don't like stand up to greet you. That's one of the small traits that I've noticed of someone that isn't really a stand-up person, like no pun intended. You know, like and also just like the simple things of just like, not really looking someone in the eye when they're listening and talking. Because this is something that like even when I was younger, I realized is that a lot of people, when they look at you, they're not really looking at you. They're looking at how you see them.
Yeah, they're kind of like gaining your perspective, like how are they viewing me?
Yeah.
And you kind of see, like, have you ever like spoke to someone and you're in giving them direct contact, and you kind of see their body malfunction a bit, like they're kind of like twitching because they're like, I don't know how this person is actually trying to connect with me as a person, and I don't know how. Yeah,
No, 100%. And it's funny, like I think it's one of those like skill sets, like even like when it comes to yourself, like when you're like talking to someone new that like is supposed to be like an important introduction. It's like, okay, like how much of this is me trying to see how they view me versus me actually trying to experience them. So obviously with first impressions, you want to make sure that this person is like actually giving off good signs of a positive interaction, like smiling, nodding or doing a tennis ball with the conversation, like versus just like that deep, like, mm, yeah, like, mm, it's a very uh two sides of the coin thing that I feel like I've learned to decipher a lot quicker here because most people in general, but especially here, are just worried about how you view them because they've spent so long curating the version of themselves that they want to portray out. They want to know if it works on new people, So like however long it takes for them to gauge that will kind of tell you like how the relationship goes. But, you know, yeah, that's my little tangent on that. But
yeah. It's almost like if they don't, if the person that they're trying to sell it to, if they're not buying it, they almost it's like an ego crush because like
yeah.
damn, like I worked so hard to curate this idea of who I think I am, and this person is not biting. It's like, who am I?
Oh, most definitely. It's a funny thing because, in a moment when you pivot from unfamiliar to familiar, there is like a certain, uh, brief period of lull in conversation where you can kind of see where someone is starting to become their true self, either in the first or the third or whatever interaction. And sometimes it's a really beautiful thing because if their true personality opens up and blossoms, it's like, oh, I never thought you were like this funny. Or I never thought like, you know, your laugh was so like warm and inviting. And like sometimes you just get that sense of like, oh, this person really doesn't give a fuck about anyone. Like they just like, hear talking points and then like see it as like darts to throw on a dartboard and be like, okay, like, you got closest to the center on this point, but I'm gonna see if I can get closer to the center than you. It's like, oh, like you're done talking, it's my turn next. Like like weird energy, you know.
Yeah, when
Like
you,
punish them, it was the talk. Ooh.
yeah. Um, when when you're younger and you move around, it's kind of easier to make friends because it's like school and like everybody's there. But outside of school, like moving to a new city, uh, it's kind of weird how to make friends or meet people. Like, how did you, or where did you make your first couple of connections?
So honestly, it was the gym and little jobs that I had.
Yeah.
Uh, the jobs that I had weren't really the best connections because obviously, not really that mutual interest when you meet these people, almost just circumstantial relationships. When I met people at the gym, I find that there's a through line of common people that everyone that I seem to really connect with is always married or in serious relationships, right? Because I don't feel the need to walk into a place and prove myself. And I find that most people who are in something that is committed and loved and cherished by two people, they don't feel the need to do that either. So they can like throw out a compliment and it's not really trying to fish for one back. It's just like, hey, you really look fit. I just wanted to say that. I've seen you here a couple times. My name is so and so. Be like, I'm Lou, and that's how usually things would spark up, you
Yeah.
know? Like, yeah, I feel like everyone else, it's like again that thing of like, okay, I want to fish to see like, what value someone offers to see if it could help my life, or if there's some sort of thing that they can tell me that might, elevate this situation that I'm in now. Like this experience of being in this gym or being in this bar, being in this restaurant or this library, whatever. It's like, how can they elevate this experience? I don't really gravitate towards those people because those people have come and they've gone by really fast. It's been a very, very interesting thing.
And what's the experience? I mean, I assume like you try to hit up people at bars, like a gym versus a bar in LA. Like, are there any like crazy differences there?
You see, it all depends on the place, because the funny thing I find about bars, like from like trying to like talk to girls at bars, is I find that they are just as curious as what I'm doing there as I am of why they're here, you know? Like when it's like an actual like good interaction and you're like, oh, like actually having good banter, you're almost like trying to test the waters of like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you at this place on Saturday night? Why haven't you really found anyone yet? Like, it's trying to get that sense. The gym is a lot easier because, again, you already have that one common connection thing that you both like to do, especially when you know that, like, they're actually very athletic and fit. You can instantly connect off that, and then rapport just starts to follow if there is. So it's just seamless. You don't have to really put too much effort in, you know?
Yeah.
Like I honestly think the gym is the best place to meet people because it's the only place you go to improve yourself and you meet other people that are going to improve yourself. You can go in looking attractive without really trying to peacock way too much. It's just it's simplicity in the fact that You have the aesthetics because your body looks nice because you've been working on it, and you appreciate that from someone else. You don't really have to play this game of, oh, you look really good, or this, oh, really flirtatious thing. It's just supernatural, right? So when it's natural at the gym, I think it's like the best place to meet people, you know? So I always like meeting people at the gym more, but I've never been that guy that just like, you know, try to shoot my shot at every single person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that, you know, when you give your energy like that too freely, it's not really respected as much from the people that receive it, right? So like if you might see it, I mean, especially here, bunch of very attractive women, right? You could obviously try to get to know them all in a friendly way, but that's so much energy not being aligned with the reason why you're there. So even if you find something, the people that see you see that and they're like, okay, he's not really aligned with the purpose of being here. He's almost using this as an excuse, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like it's a way to it's a means to an end versus like,
Yeah,
okay, mutual interest there, a natural spark, natural connection. Yeah,
yeah,
and I think that it also like plays into the aspect of like trying to meet people, like you said, like in a bar, in a club. Because I feel like you don't get the genuine person when you meet them at a bar or at a club. Even though they say that's the classic way. Like people say, "Oh, I met my wife at a club or at a bar." I'm like, "How?" Because like I feel like the interaction you have at a bar or at a club is just so vague.
yeah.
So, like, what is it about that person that stuck out? Is it like were you actually interested, or were they the person that actually gave you conversation versus like out of the hundreds of people that you tried to interact with and they just gave you the good old peace sign, you know what I mean? So
So,
it's just like I don't know, it just kind of feels like it doesn't feel like the best place to meet someone genuinely. I feel like it's got to be in a setting where there's like people have good intentions, one, and two, there's like a common ground. That's why if you meet someone at a grocery store, it's like y'all could both interact because of shopping. Or if you meet someone at a farmer's market, you can both interact because of your love of just holistic like goods that y'all are interested in, or like at a gym because your love of lifting or being fit. Versus like at a club, like no one had the people that you interact with, most likely they're not gonna have the same interests as you. Most likely, if you were to meet them outside of the situation, you'd be like, I don't like this person. You know?
what what has your experience been, Femi, and here in Dallas? Like, where do you meet the most genuine people?
I mean, for me personally, I feel like the most genuine people I've met here is kind of hard. Because I feel like I mean there's scenarios. But I mean if I could be like general, the most genuine had to be just friends that I met at church. Not me people at church, but when they introduced me to people outside of church that also are, of faith. So like let's say if I'll meet someone at church or if I have a friend at church and they introduce me to someone, they said, "Hey, like we're having maybe a game night, or we're just gonna hang out here. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." The people I meet at that place, I'm like, "Okay, this is genuine," because I feel like okay, we have the mutuality of having a mutual friend, so there's commonality there, and it's easier to break the ice because it's in a controlled setting, and the idea is to meet people because people are inviting people. So I feel like that's the most genuine I meet someone is through somebody else. Because although I said church, it's like I feel like people can be one way in church and be another way outside of church. And I met a lot of people like that. And I'm just like, nah. It's like one of the reasons why I can't really just say church, even though it seems like the most like correct answer. And then clubs and bars, no.
Yeah.
Go to the workplaces.
See, Chava, as an adult man with a new baby and a wife, how do you find meeting adult friends?
I I don't really like my circumstances are very specific. One, I work from home. Uh and then two, I don't really have friends here like or know people that be like before. So the only like new friendships I've developed since I got here was through Fola. So meeting Fola's college friends. And then as Femi said, like the friend and then the boyfriend or whatever, and then the other friend and just like that. But it's kind of challenging if you're not going to like an office or a work environment or like a social setting that's already built for making connections. Um, it's really tough. And it's kind of weird. The only place I go to is the gym and and the grocery store. So making connections at a gym when I think it's it's a little easier when in your case when you're like you work there and because there's this because when you're trying to make a connection as like fellow like gym members, it's a little awkward. Well, not yeah, people don't are not that open, but being like working there, I think there's like a barrier of like you can't be weird as an employee, right? Because consequences. So I think people might be more open to like open up to you as
Yeah.
a as someone who works there, right? But yeah, I'm definitely I mean, I can't say I'm trying because I'm not really trying, but I'm figuring out ways, trying to figure out ways like how to like make more connections for sure. But yeah, right now it's a little difficult with the baby. But I'm pretty sure because of our daughter, once she starts going to school, like through her, like I'm like our social circle is gonna start to grow because of activities and social circles and school and stuff. So I think that it is a like a easy pathway, and I'm trying to find my own path. But yeah, it's kind of like where do you start? Uh, but yeah, if you guys have ideas, I'm open to listen.
How do you feel about golf?
Yeah, I would love to get. I used to play back in high school. I haven't played since. I need to like get a little like refresher. But yeah, I really like golf.
Yeah, because to me, I think, especially when it comes to like grown men, it's like there's a certain level of, you know, established presence that you have to approach when it comes to building this relationship, right? Like it's this idea that like, oh, like he's has a nice watch that I can like bring up and be like, hey, nice watch, or he's wearing interesting shoes, right? Or like whatever, like just something that you can pick out, right? I think it's a lot easier to do that, when you genuinely like the thing and you can like actually talk about it versus like forcing something. Right? Because I feel like a lot of things you could just force and just be like, oh yeah, I really like your jackets.
Yeah, nice shoes there, buddy.
Yeah. Like that's a funny thing. Like a genuine compliment, and like I love giving genuine compliments. Like when I'm like out on the street and I
Yeah,
see someone with nice pants, I will not hesitate, no matter what setting, to say I really like your jeans. Because if I really like something, it's so rare to see. I have to say it,
yeah,
right? And like I remember like a couple weeks ago I was in like downtown Los Angeles and I was going to a bank building to have a meeting. And there was this guy with this very, very nice pinstripe suit, right? and like he was standing at a taco truck, and I was walking past, and like I was wearing my cowboy boots, and like we almost like had this like Spider-Man moment as I was walking, and he was standing there. He was just like, "Nice boots." I was like, I was just about to say, "Nice suit." We just started, we started chatting from there, you
Yeah.
know. And again, it's like when you know it's genuine, it's easy to keep it up because like you can build from that, versus like the like in the forced one of like, hey, your daughter goes to the school. It's like, why the fuck do you think I'm here? It's like, yeah. Yeah.
It's a great school. You're gonna love it here. You're gonna love it here. My kids been going to school for years. I'm sure, buddy. I'm sure, guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly. So yeah, like honestly, like my only thing that I can say is like when you actually see something that you like appreciate from someone, just bring it up, right? Like because it's so rare, it's just the easiest way to make friends. It's like honestly, like that's like the best way I found it. Like one of my really great friends that I met at the gym, uh, I met him because when he was doing like pull-ups, because he asked like if he could like work in through when he was doing pull-ups, I saw this big ass Naruto tattoo of like the whole Akatsuki clan on his forearm. And I was like, that is the sickest tattoo I've ever seen. I was like, can I just like take a look at like the design of it? And he just started like telling me about like, you know, the stages it took to do this and do this. We just started talking about anime, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm a big fan of Naruto. And then like, we just started like bringing back and forth of like when we started watching it, yada yada. Next time I saw him, he brought me this like manga of like, special edition that like he was really proud of. And he was just like, yeah, like, honestly, he's like, I've been seeing you around. I'm like, you look so intimidating. It's just so nice to figure out that you're a cool guy. And I was just like, that's sweet, man. That's groomsman vibes. I like this, man.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is. It's like for instance, like Shava, like you said, like with the gym thing, how like it's kind of awkward. I feel like it can be when you're in your head
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of people at the gym they kind of have that face because they're lifting and they listen to click click boom. They're like click click boom, and you're like, whoa, buddy, you good, bro, you good, like you got that. But then like when you actually like go up to them and you like say like, hey, like can I spot it with you or something like that? They're like, oh sure, pal. What? Oh, you said something, pal? Oh, I would love, yeah, yeah. I really think that's what it is because I've definitely had situations like that where it's like that person looks intimidating, and I just go up to them, I spark to something that just actually generally picks my interest, and then they actually become like my gym buddy, and we actually like go in and we meet up for the gym and we work out together. So I think it just starts with a little line,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you can just reel and you can just reel in. I think that's a good way. Also, I was about to say like another good way is like you can enter like groups where like people where you can find people that have similar interests that you have. So like a way that I say you can go by that is I don't know, maybe like on Facebook, like you can find like different Facebook groups to see what you can find through that. Or like I know a lot of people tend to like meet up like in Discord or something like that, where they like those chat to people, find locals, and then end up meeting up with each other kind of thing. So I think it's just kind of it's the whole like just putting yourself out there thing. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, yeah, it's gotta say something.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like this sound like an excuse, but I feel like Dallas is a very isolated city. Because when I was living in San Francisco, like people are just out, and it's so easy. Like public transportation is so common, and you're around people all the time, and like you go to parks, and everybody's running outside and things like that. And just Dallas is like a city of highways and malls and cars, and that's it, right? It's kind of like you have to try harder to like be on a social setting that's not work or school or whatever. I think LA is also like that. Like Even though you do need a car in LA, but like people are just out there. But yeah, Dallas, you definitely need to like push through and try.
Yeah, it's very like point A to point B in Dallas. It's definitely hard because the only way you're gonna meet someone is if you go to point B.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So another good way that I like to meet folks is so like I said, like mutual interest. So like I might go to like maybe a rave, or I might go to like a little fashion event or something where it has like something that the things I have interest in, and I'll just go take myself to,
Yeah.
and I'll just spark conversation with people because I know we all have the same interests of things. So I'll just talk, 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 and then before you know it, like I have a couple friends,
Yeah.
and then we'll meet up somewhere or might go to another event somewhere. That's because we already had that mutual interest thing there. Because I met a lot of cool people just off that, just being like, "Ooh, there's this thing coming on Friday. Well, let me check that out." And I go check it out and I meet folks.
Yeah, I used to try back in like 10 years ago. I used to try meetups. I don't know if you guys ever tried that meetup. It
I've
was a
heard of it.
website, meetup.com. I don't know, I don't think it's that popular right now, but I did go to meetups or like when I was living in Tampa, I met a good friend there. Just like, hey, what's your deal? It's just like whatever. Uh, but yeah, now it's a little bit harder, but yeah, I need to put myself out there for sure.
Dude, it's funny, like a couple days ago, someone asked me, like, hey, like, there's this event happening in LA. It's a little weird, but like I want to buy tickets if you're down to go. Like, would you want to come? And I was like, well, how weird is it? He's like, so basically, right, there's gonna be two college athletes, right? Two college athletes, right? And we're going to gather in a room and watch on a line screen to see who has the fastest sperm through a maze. We're gonna track it on a microscope, and the sperm is gonna go through a maze. And we're gonna see if USC or UCLA wins. And I was
Oh,
like, that sounds amazing, but I don't know.
I saw that online. I saw it on Twitter. Like,
Yeah,
Is that really a real thing?
that was a real thing.
So how's that work? Do they just like nut on a tray and they're just like slide it down like a tube? Like how's that?
I don't know. I had so many questions.
like a mini track with like
Yeah.
those six tags.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, but I was like, that sounds interesting. But, you
Uh,
know, events like that, I don't think I would meet people that I'd find like common ground.
I know because you ask the person like, "Why are you there?" If their reason is someone didn't invite me, you know the reason is gonna be odd.
Yeah.
Like the only salable reason is someone invite me because like there's
Yeah,
no way them saying whatever they would say would be normal.
exactly.
That's so crazy. Like you were invited to that. I saw it online.
Yeah. It was like one of my promoter friends. I was just like, sure. I was like, this sounds interesting, but like, I really don't know how much fun I'd have. Yeah.
But
Because again, like the promoter events are just like, you know, places to meet other influencers to do collabs with and like take selfies. It's not really the best place to meet friends, you know. Like definitely good stories. Like I kind of wish I went just so I could talk about it on this podcast, but I was like, no.
I mean, yeah, you're basically gonna be looking at a screen, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, looking at the screen is the craziest part because I don't know what's weirder, like actually being live there or seeing it through a screen, like via live,
yeah.
like a showing. Like I don't know what's weirder.
Yeah, it's funny. See, I honestly think, like as you get older, your threshold for meet cutes, if you will, become a lot higher, right? Because like you just know that like, man, like I only have so much tolerance for small talk and bullshit conversation because I have so much to do when I get home. Like if this isn't instant like, back and forth banter, I really don't want to invest too much into it. Like it's not gonna be worth it, right? Which
Yeah,
is a good thing, I think.
for
Yeah, I
sure.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Well,
There's one thing I wanted to bring up though
yeah, yeah.
before we close. I know we only have 2 minutes. Have you seen You, Chava, the show You?
Oh, Fallout used to, yeah. I mean, a couple episodes because Fallout used to watch it. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I wish I could go on my long rant, but like I would love to send another link so we can continue this conversation. Because I have some points on this that I really want to discuss.
Yeah, yeah. Go for it and we can
All right, I'm gonna send a new one now.